Cool. Okay, so did you want to, I'm very open with these types of interviews because I want you to share, to whatever message and length of explanation or how detailed, I guess, you want to go into like your past, the present, the future, whatever. But this is like a
Uh-huh.
totally open, canvas or platform for you to share what you want to share.
Okay.
So you're welcome to start with whatever you like, or can lead into other questions. But I didn't want to pressure you with those like pre-formatted questions. Like I said, I was going to. It just didn't feel
Yeah.
right. So I wanted to be more aligned with, what you're resonating with at this present moment. So your note of just like being a visionary, a creative, like what life looks like with that. It's not easy. I think we all battle like that constant trying to be perfect and create the best, work to our ability, but we always want to still critique it. And, it's healthy to do that to a certain extent, but it also can be very unhealthy. Maybe you can talk about your struggles with some of that work.
Yeah. Perfectionism is something that I actually have really struggled with in the past, and I do still struggle with perfectionism, but not as much as what I used to. So my views on that really is that I feel like perfectionism comes from society. And I feel like it comes from when you're in school and you have to perform and you have to get high grades. And if you don't, you're not good enough. And I guess with society too, it's always like you have to look perfect, be perfect, speak perfect. And I feel like it's just all like a sense of fear, that it's like we are all programmed like that, right? We're all programmed to feel that fear that we might not be good enough if we don't meet up to expectations, right? And if we don't meet up to those expectations, then we're like judged and criticized, right? Because that's also something that society puts out there, right? So that's why we have like the news, and that's why we have like gossip magazines and all that kind of stuff. So I struggled really, really like a lot with that in my life, and always having to feel like I had to be perfect, look perfect, say the right things. And I never actually noticed that it was a problem until I started my business because it was just so normal, right? And I was struggling to like put things out there and actually speak from my heart and speak. I was meditating and I was receiving all this intuitive guidance and like vision for my life, but when I tried to put it out there, I was kind of paralyzed in this perfectionism, like, oh my God, what are people going to think? Am I saying the right things? Am I going to offend someone? Are they going to think that my energy is not good enough? Just ridiculous things that like the mind comes up with. And the way that I really got past a lot of that was healing a lot of insecurities within myself. I had to look at these fears consistently and be like, where is this coming from? Like, what emotion is behind it? Then feeling the emotion and letting it go. So I've started to notice now that the perfectionism is getting less. It's still there though. I mean, it can still be a struggle, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's something that takes a while to come out of, because when you're programmed like that, it's been years.
Yeah, the best way I look, to think that you can take the time to reprogram your brain, for lack of a better word, is like, it's kind of new to me, but it's one of those things you don't believe in until you can apply it to yourself and see results, of course. And just through meditation and just like, it sounds like easy, it's not very simple, but to detach
Yeah.
the thought, right? Is that where most of your work comes from, and through the meditation, just going real deep into like your brain, nonetheless, memories, etc. And just finding where, again, that root of the problem, where it came from, and healing through that. Does that make
Yeah, pretty much. When I'm healing, like I'll look at the fears and I'll go into a meditation and I'll just ask myself, like, what is the memory connected to this fear, right? And then a memory will always come up, and it's a memory usually from like childhood or like teenage years, or sometimes even something that happened like 5 years ago. But most of the perfectionism comes from the early years, right? Because that's when we're so young and we're so like susceptible to our environment and to what's going on. And as children, I think we just really want to be loved and accepted, right? That's what we want. We just want to be loved and we want to be accepted. And if we find ourselves in an environment that doesn't support that, then it creates a lot of like fear in the mind, which can stay with you for your whole entire life if you don't look at it.
Sure. So I remember in our first meeting, of course, that it was Scotland. You went to school there, right?
Yeah, in Scotland. Yeah.
So the grading is very similar to the U.S. Do you remember if it's A through F type of?
Pretty much. Or it's like that, or sometimes it's numbers, but it's like the same idea, right? It's the same idea. You're either, getting a good grade, a kind of good grade, or failing.
But were you, so even here in the States, I can recall going through each quarter we'd have, or semester, quarter or semester, basically award ceremonies. So who were doing better, they got accolades and stuff, which is great, but I could see how that would almost boost your ego. And then how does that make a kid feel who's not receiving these awards? Or similar to that, they're probably trying, but they're not really given the right environment again to learn. And it's really unfortunate that we all go through so many, essentially 12 years of programming, through school. And if you choose to do more programming through college, it's really difficult to just, again, wonder where, even when I write, I can remember being intimidated to start even a essay, because you're is this the thesis statement that the teacher wants to read? Is this the proper grammar? Is this that? It's again, just getting those words on the paper is the first step. So for them to even critique it as, again, this final product, it's very limiting already. And because it's just teaching the tools of being creative and how to express yourself. And that's not the foundation that's taught, in school. So it's great that we've discovered it, it took some years.
No, I totally agree with you. And another thing about school and the perfectionism is, I feel like when you're in school, there's a set amount of classes that you have. So you have maths, and you have English, and you have all these classes, right? But you're not, well, in my school anyway, we weren't taught to own in on what we were actually good at. It's here's a subject that you might naturally not be good at, get an A. And for me, I really struggle with that because I'm a creative person. So the classes I did well in was art and cooking classes and music, right? But that wasn't a lot of the classes that we got. It was more these kind of logical classes, which I struggle with because I just didn't do well in them. I didn't do bad. I would say I was maybe okay, but I do feel that was a lot in my self-esteem growing up and trying to be perfect and forcing myself to be good at things that I was not naturally good at, which isn't good for your soul. I don't believe that.
And you again kind of reflect on how long we spend doing those things. I was a cheerleader for all 4 years of my high school experience, and I was speaking about it last week to a coworker, but basically along the lines of you don't know yourself in high school. You're not given the time to really do that, and if you do, you're very blessed, whatever. But beyond that, I felt like I was forcing myself to be in this box of a cheerleader, and that's not who I am. Do I love people and cheering on a crowd? Cool, great, but it's not a lot of people perceive a cheerleader as this, cliquey. Yeah, it's a cliquey, bitchy, or the cheerleaders, jockey, football, it was all in one. But I always felt I was, again, the black sheep in that group of people, because I was a little bit taller, I wasn't petite, and all the other things that a cheerleader was. And I remember feeling very insecure every Friday night because again, I wasn't that small cheerleader. I didn't really feel I was meant to be there. And I always questioned what sport would I had rather done, and where could that potential have gone. But, you know, you never know, because that was like that path for that. And it was all my choice. You know, I wanted to feel like I was part of something else, but that like wasn't the right thing. So
Yeah.
it's
And
interesting.
I believe that like that's part of like your path as well, like that you're supposed to experience the things that you don't want so you know what you do want. So it's not necessarily like a bad thing. It's like you experience these things and you're like, oh my God, I don't want this. This isn't me. So now I know what I do want.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go more towards that.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So can you maybe relate to like how you've, because you feel like more expanded or contracted when you're moving towards these things yourself, correct? Like when
Yeah,
something doesn't
yeah.
feel right, you won't do it, right?
Yeah. And I think when you get more in tune with your intuition too, like you can really feel that. You really feel when something's right for you because it feels so good and it feels exciting and it feels a little bit scary all at the same time. And then when something's not right for you, you feel, like you say, like contracted. You feel like, oh, I don't want to do that. Just constricted, stressed. So there's always that, like, when you tune into your emotions and your intuition, you can really feel what's good for you in a situation.
So maybe you can speak your like understanding of this, because for me it's like when I'm afraid of something, I kind of go deeper again to understand why might I be afraid of this.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they're very like illogical reasons, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I've just never done it before. I don't know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. But to take another step back and say, how can I like figure this out, or how can I move forward? Again, moving basically with like love and determination to be excited for something. Do you think that's a good motive to again say yes to that, because it's like it's pulling you towards your biggest fears, but again to like transform it into something beautiful. So that looks
Yeah,
different in
yeah.
so many ways, of course, but
Yeah, totally. Because I feel like even if you feel pulled towards something, you feel happy and excited, there will still be fear there, you know? There can still be fear. And I think it's just, you know, like your way and your soul's way of telling you, okay, this is the right path, but there's something in the way to clear, you know, to get there. So I experienced this so much when I started my business and put my message out there. I had so much fear, like as I told you, like just so much fear. And that was something that I just had to keep looking at, like almost daily in the beginning. I was like, okay, what is this? I have to let it go because I know that this is my path. And again, like I said, I would just look at the fear and release it. And then I would naturally move more towards what I wanted to. And it was helping me. I guess your dreams and your desires, they help you grow and heal.
mm-hmm.
You know, they help you pull you through this stuff that maybe you weren't even aware of,
Right.
so that you grow, which I actually believe what your soul wants to grow. You know, your soul's here for growth. So your soul's pretty much saying to you, okay, I'm giving you this desire, this dream. You have some growth to do, you have some fears to heal, and then it's going to come into, you know, it's going to come into your life more easily.
Mm-hmm. So do you believe you can only I guess define like to fine tune yourself again to that like path, to be like thorough, like very present, of course. I do believe it's important to reflect on the, you know, the past, to be excited for the future, to envision all that. But again, a lot of people get, myself included, I get very caught up in that. And
Yeah.
again, just come back to like this real grounded space of here and now. I think it's like the most magical, because then you can kind of see like, oh, I have healed through that. This is where I'm at here, and this is the next step, right? So it
Yeah, of
adds just
course.
more clarity, of course, to the whole path. And um, I think like the work you do with the meditations and guided work, it's super inspirational again, because you've created that for yourself and others to again find that present moment space and really connect with you know, inside of yourself, higher self, etc. And it's just not something that is taught again in school or
Yeah.
you know, anywhere else. So
Yeah, it's really interesting. I guess meditation, I mean, it is getting bigger and it is getting more popular, but as for a society, it's not really seen as something that you do or like you teach. And what I say in my courses and what I like believe is when you meditate, you get to shut out not only the voice of fear within yourself, but like the outside world. And then from that place, you can connect to who you really are. You can connect to your soul, your higher self. You can connect to the universe, to God, to your spirit guides, right? You have this place of like connection. And then from that place, you can actually see what's possible for your life, right? Because your soul, like your soul's unlimited basically, right? Your soul doesn't know what limits are, right? Limits just come from the mind and what we've learned here. But you have this whole part of you that's like connected to the entire universe, right? So when you tap into that through meditation, you can actually see what your soul wants for your life, which is bigger than anything you can really imagine when you're just like in your mind, because you're really connecting to who you are, right? This powerful soul.
mm-hmm.
And I
So
don't
have you
I
ever
think girls clicked onto that.
so of course I really resonate with this because I've experienced it myself. But as far as trying to encourage, really hate to segregate age groups of people, but the whole concept of always having the power to like adapt, evolve, change your programming. Do you believe elders can apply this work still if they are given the proper tools? Again,
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly think anyone of any age can do it. I believe like everyone can connect to their intuition and to their soul, right? There's no rules with it. Like we came here to Earth basically to have that connection still going. So no matter what's happened, you can reconnect to it. And I think there's a spiritual teacher who had his spiritual awakening like later on in life, Neil Donald Walsh. Don't know if you've heard of him. He wrote a bunch of books called Conversations with God.
sure.
And he was, I don't know, I think he might have been in his late 50s. I'm not entirely sure. But he had this spiritual awakening and he opened up this portal with these conversations he was having with God and made all these books. So he was older and he did it. So I don't believe there's any like age range,
Right.
at all.
So no, I definitely believe that as well. It's just a dormant like seed inside of us that we are the gardeners. We have to water that seed, nourish it, and that comes with a lot of work. Feeding our
Yeah.
body with good food and being outside, enjoying nature, and those are for me what really connected myself. Or reconnected myself to myself. It was through the meditation course, but it was also reconnecting to the more natural things in life because I didn't realize how disconnected I was from those things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Again, I think a lot of it is through the schooling. You're very programmed to be indoors, and you get 15-minute, 20-minute recess playtime. That goes by quickly. You get a created menu items off of a food processing belt, basically. Like you don't really get to make the choice. You can't prepare it. It's just what was created for us. And it's not until you become more independent, you provide for yourself, that you can make those more conscious decisions to treat your vessel and body better. So I think it's really, really great that we can empower ourselves to do that, of course, but it is not easy because you have to have a commitment to, your health, your wealth, and just keep on pushing. Because I think another thing that a lot of people perceive, even with my work and yours, like it might become like, oh, a picture perfect thing. It's like, no, in the background of life, like still like you're paying your bills, I'm paying my bills, we have to work, we're, doing the best to our ability, but to really reconnect and take more time and energy to produce work like this is so necessary. And I'm really happy that we can do it.
Yeah, like everything you said is so important, like spending time in nature and taking that time to like do what you're passionate about, right? Having that focus to do what you love and what you're passionate about is so important for you, for your health, for your mind, for your life. You know, it's like, it's why you came here. Like we all came here for a reason, right? We came here to share our gifts, to, you know, do what we love, to enjoy life. And I think somewhere along the lines that's kind of been forgotten by society as a whole, because a lot of us now are being taught to hustle and work in jobs just to get material gain and to make money. So when you're in that mindset, which I used to be, life can be really stressful. You can get burnt out, you can just feel like unhappy, you can have anxiety, you can have all these kind of problems arise in your life when you're not doing those things that make you feel good, you know? And that's what life's about. Life's about feeling good. We came here to feel good, you know?
So do you believe in everyone, of course, having a purpose? Like, no, you do.
Yeah.
But of course, taking the conscious effort to like decide to make that like their mission, if you will, to discover that purpose. How did you discover yours?
Okay. So I discovered my purpose through meditation. Basically through meditation. I first came across the idea of purpose through Wayne Dyer, for watching his movie The Shift, and he was speaking about having a purpose and doing what you loved and just having this shift in your life, right? So when I first watched that movie, I was so like blown away. I felt like he was speaking to my soul. So after I watched this, I just decided I wanted to find my purpose. But it was kind of like, it was a struggle in the beginning because I thought my purpose was outside of me. So I was reading tons of books, I was watching videos, I was doing a lot of things externally trying to find this purpose, whatever it was. And then I decided through, you know, my life I kind of hit like a rock bottom again. So the only thing that I could do in that rock bottom was meditate and heal myself, because I just didn't have energy and I was super sick. So every single day I got up and I started meditating, and I started getting visions. Like I saw myself doing things in the world that I'd never thought was possible. So I saw myself being a speaker on stage. I saw myself making videos online. I saw myself coaching women. And I was like blown away. And I was blown away by the way that I felt during the meditation. So I felt so fulfilled, so happy, so joyful. These were emotions that I didn't feel in like my daily life. And I realized that the more that I moved toward what I was seeing, what was coming through me, the more that I did start to feel those feelings in my daily life. So it was guidance.
Sure. It was manifested into.
Yeah, exactly. And the meditations helped me get more in tune with my intuition and just getting more in tune with who I really was. And I realized through it that basically what I believe your purpose is what you want on a soul level, deep down, used in service of others, right? And we all have dreams and desires, like deep down within us. And we've always had them our whole entire lives, right? And that's what I teach people to get to those dreams, to get to those desires, and then use them in service of others. And that's basically your purpose.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So I definitely believe that. I couldn't pinpoint a percentage of the Americans that are basically working a job, you know, that they don't love. Because are there moments and times that I enjoy my job? Yes, you know, I'm giving service to others. It's reciprocated, you know, in a tip or, you know, gratuity of, you know, just verbal thank you, great service, blah, blah, blah. I don't love it, you know?
Yeah.
This project is what I've become to love and align with. And, you know, it's been a couple of years, of course, of just shifting and sorting again of what you're saying, of finding
Yeah.
out what you do like, what you don't like. And,
Mhm.
it's taken, I think it could take a lot of time. It just depends on how much more time you spend to, again, go inside. And I can resonate with that whole trying to like look at other things outside of me,
Yeah.
find inspiration or like purpose, of course. And it's so funny, but basically, like, the last book I just read was Everything is Figure Outable, and it was like the last book I needed to just be like, okay, quit reading these books, go finish your book, because that's what the world needs. And that's how Marie Forleo ends the book. It's like, okay, now go do what you're what you know
Yeah.
is right, and align with your purpose, and do that, because that's what the world needs. And only you can bring that. And it's so unique and so empowering to hear those words, because I do believe we can create a world where everyone is doing what they love, and
Yeah.
money will just be a tool to continue to grow, evolve, heal, whatever. But for someone to continuously have the mindset of wanting more money because it will bring them more like of this is silly. It's really disheartening.
Yeah.
Of course, I used to be that same person, but until you realize, like, I can remember having $20 to my name and feeling so fulfilled still. So I said, okay, I know that this is not what life is all about, right? Sure,
Yeah.
does it help? Again, coming back from that programmed mindset of, as a child, my mom would, oh, we don't have money, we don't have this. Those limiting beliefs are already there, but it's still much more than that. It's like, oh, the money can be there, will always
Mhm.
be here. It's just a tool to leverage, you know, products,
Yeah.
services, and things like that. So interesting to come, to where I'm at now of being 25, financially independent, I like to think.
Mhm.
But I'm not a I'm living within my means. I'm content. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I want to leave tomorrow to travel. I can. The freedom of flexibility with my job, of course, is that I can serve any restaurant, like teach me the menu and I can do that service. So it's great that that tool again is there to allow me to continue like this path for myself. So
Yeah. And that's is awesome to have something that gives you like that freedom
mhm.
also. And from the money point of view too, like when you look at it from the way of like the law of attraction works, as society we have this mentality, okay, we need money, we have to work hard, we have to work a job that we don't like, which really causes feelings of like resentment and anger and stress and frustration, which means you actually limit yourself to how much money you can make, because the way that the universe works is the universe responds to your vibration, right? So if you're happy by doing what you love, even at the beginning, if you're not making any money, you're putting out really good vibrations to the universe, which means that you will attract more money, right? Even if it doesn't look like it in the beginning. So if you feel feelings of abundance because you feel happy about what you do and you're tuned into abundance, you will receive more abundance. And it's a lot easier than the mentality that we have of working hard and hustling and struggling and working a job that we don't like, you know?
Yeah, it comes with a lot of patience though, right? Because we're in a day and age where we like instant gratification. And I've noticed
Yeah.
that within myself. I'm like, okay, I'm doing all this work and all these affirmations, when is it coming? But you have to, again, just putting that resistance out to like, where is it, when is it, I'm still not like, no, come back to
Yeah.
that alignment of like, I already am like abundant, I'm enough, I'm worthy, I have everything I need when I need it, those types of moments. And yeah, it's that conscious
Yeah.
effort to shift the mindset.
Yeah, and it is all the mindset, because we are all taught how to make money, and it is this certain way, right? You go to school, you go to college, you get a job, you work a job maybe that you don't like, and you hustle and you make money. But it doesn't really work like that, you know? It's like you put this good energy out there, you do what you love, and the money will come back to you. And if you start to really, really believe that, things will start showing up like synchronicities, right? So you're putting out this energy like, I want this thing, I want this money. Then your intuition might guide you towards meeting someone that you wouldn't think in your rational mind, and then in that way you make money. You know, it's like you put out this energy of abundance and the universe will send you back signs.
For sure. Yeah, just be open to it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And what I have like a crazy story about this. So I started reading a book about creating money, and the book is channeled by spirit guides, right? So it's channeled through someone from spirit guides, and they have this meditation in the book. And the meditation basically is for you to send a call out to the people that you want to come into your business, right? So you can make money. So you visualize them coming to you, and you just send out this energetic call. So the first time I ever did that, within 2 weeks, I got someone signed up into my course. And I literally hardly did anything. All I did was post a few things on Instagram. And she wasn't even following me that long. She was following me for like 2 weeks. And I was like, my mind was like blown, because I hardly posted about it. You know, I was kind of saying a couple of things, a few things, and she just signed right up. And I was doing that meditation like every single day. So crazy.
So do you wonder, or maybe you do know this about her, was she kind of asking for that same help in a way, like to have someone guide her to, you know, her higher self, and like you guys really had just aligned, like how, you know, our interaction was virtually?
Yeah. So when I was speaking to her, she said, you were just really speaking to my soul. You know, like the things that you were saying, it just spoke to my soul, and that's why I signed up for your course. And I gave her one of the meditations from the course first to help her connect to her higher self, to see if it was a right fit for her. And right away, she like signed up after doing the meditation. So that's what she was looking for. And what the meditation actually teaches you is to only call in people for the higher goods. So when you're putting that vibration out there to the universe, you're only calling in people that will actually help. So it's really, it's crazy.
So with your choosing of meditations, do you find that visualization meditations or guided are better, or just simply having like a frequency play, or it's all different, of course, depending on?
Yeah, it's all different. Like I do different kinds of meditations. So I have guided meditations, which I find really good because it helps you focus your mind in a positive way, so that those kind of negative thoughts don't come in and block you. So I have those guided meditations. Then I'll just do meditations with just music, where it's not guided. And usually when I do that is to call in like my guides, to call them in and, you know, like feel their presence and ask for guidance. And then the other kind of meditation I do is like Kundalini meditations, which is totally different. You're chanting and you're like moving your hands around, and you're building like positive energy within you. So there's a lot of different types of meditations that you can do. And sometimes I'll just visualize with music that I like. That's what I'll just do. Some days I'll just like put in music that I like love. You know, I'll usually be like some kind of like trance or dance music. And I just visualize what I want. And that's like enough sometimes to put you in a really good energy.
Yeah, you're like recreating that vortex for yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, it's all about feeling good, you know, whatever makes you feel good.
For sure. Yeah, and that's I discovered an article a few days ago, and I would love to share it with you because I think you would like it too. But basically the whole idea of, you know, am I meditating the right way? And it's like the first thing, you don't have to sit like, you know, in an upright position, like, oh, that's how all the, you know, the YouTube ones that I listen, oh, lay down in a position. It's like, okay, that's not real life. Like I have roommates, I have a lot going on in life. And I'm not that comfortable in that. Like that's where I find that I'm. So again, just aligning with what feels right for you is so important. And for people to remind themselves that that's okay to do, right? It's again not a societal standard that they have to fit into, or, you know, just as long as it's working for you, or you know, you find value, I think you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just what really feels good for you, like in that moment. Like as I said about the Kundalini meditations, like some people just love doing Kundalini meditations, and it's all about chanting and moving your hands around. So it's not the typical style of meditation, right? but that really works for some people. And I use Kundalini meditations too, you know, so I kind of just switch back and forth whatever I'm feeling like. Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting.
Sure. Have you ever participated in a group meditation?
I haven't, but I've heard that it's supposed to be a lot more powerful.
It's intense, yeah. Again, it all depends on everyone's intention and how like with it they are. But in that class that I took in college, we did a group meditation, but it was, you know, the power of like visualizing a healed world or something of that sort. But no, you can just feel the energy of the room shift. And I think that's the most powerful, you know, whether that's just everyone kind of coming together as that one united like mind, or like frequency, again, just to be guided as one group of, like, it sounds really crazy, but it's like that much.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
When you do have a group of individuals who are committed to that thoughtfulness and mindfulness, I think it can change the world. And that's what we're doing, you know, in our first interaction. Again, the people that have inspired us, you know, are allowing us to inspire like that next, what's the word I want to use? Tier of individuals to like wake up and empower, right? Like, hey, I'm Brittany Jacobs. I grew up in a small town. You can do it too. Like, everyone just tap into it, and you know, it's your choice. Yeah. And I'm not pressuring anyone, but you know, life starts to feel good, and I believe that everybody likes to feel good. You know, that's again what a lot of people source for outside of themselves, to feel good. Sex, drugs, alcohol, things, you know, material goods. But it really is, you know, comes from an alignment and an appreciation for yourself.
Yeah, that's so true. And like, as I said before, like, we're here to feel good. We're here to create and manifest, right? We're all creators, right? And we didn't come to life to be stressed, to struggle, to be sick, to, you know, have all these things that are going on in the world today. Like, we didn't come here for that. We came here for joy and to be happy, you know?
I completely agree.
Yeah, and that really does. I mean, obviously there is those ways that you can do it, the things outside of you, like the drinking and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But the real like joy and feel good comes from being in alignment with who you are, you know, and being able to express that. But yeah, you know, if you're looking to be more in alignment with like that part of yourself and with your soul and with your purpose, you know, it does come down to just meditation and being in alignment with who you are and the essence of who you are, you know. And I have a full entire course coming out about this soon that really just helps you get into like deep alignment with your soul and who you are, so that you can manifest that into the world. And it also helps you, you know, release those fears and those limiting beliefs that are like blocking you from being that person. So yeah, it's very, very exciting.
Do you have your site launched yet, or it's still like kind of?
It's not yet. Maybe by the time this podcast is out, but not yet. So it's coming at the end of the week.